Sixers fans, what's up? What's going on? How we doing? I know yesterday, rough day. Sixers losing 6 to the New York Knicks. We lose at home. Tobias Harris has 0 points. Embiid has a handful in the fourth quarter. Tyrese Maxey had a rough game. Only had 17. A lot to be discussed right now in the Sixers world. It's going to be a big offseason. Sixers have a max contract slot they can send out somewhere while re-signing Tyrese Maxey, so a lot can be done this summer. There's also a lot that could be replaced. I mean, guys like Kelly Oubre, Nick Batum, around the board, man, a lot can change in Philadelphia. And I kind of want to sit here and talk about the rumors, the news, and kind of where I'm at now, one day removed from losing in the first round, having another disappointing season year after year, and just kind of my thoughts on everything. I want to start off by talking about the Sixers team as it is right now. I think they fought extremely hard. The Sixers fought really, really hard, man. They were down by 46 in the first quarter last night, and they came back and made it a game. And they were just drained and tired by the end of it. It's tough to have Embiid, who's, I would argue, 25, 30 pounds overweight, already dealing with injuries, having such a big load on him throughout the series and every single game, and the on-off splits of him not being on the court, it makes Nick Nurse have nothing but to just throw him out there. And he just ran out of gas. I think Embiid, and I'll allude to this later, I'll talk about it more later, but Embiid needs another guy next to him, and Tyrese just wasn't that guy yesterday. He has been that guy. Tyrese has been that guy throughout some moments of the series, and he had really good moments, and man, obviously he had 46 last game to win that, and he saved Embiid's legacy. He saved Embiid's legacy for hitting 7 points in 28 seconds. I mean, he did some Reggie Miller in the Garden shit, so I mean, Tyrese is amazing, and I can't wait to see him on the Sixers for the next decade. I love him. I love everything about that guy, man. He makes basketball what it should be, entertaining and fun to watch. And I just think that we need something else to lessen the load on guys like Maxey and Embiid, because Tobias Harris, bro, had 0 points. I mean, what a poetic way to go out. Just encapsulates everything that we've hated in him forever. He had 2 shot attempts, dude. Toby had 2 shot attempts, bro. He was awful. He was awful. Like, I understand playing him because of, what he is compared to other guys. But, dude, there's no reason to have him out on the court in the fourth quarter at all. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating to see him play basketball. But we don't ever have to do it again if everything goes well. And I'm assuming it will. I would be flabbergasted. I made a tweet yesterday. I think this would be hilarious. I think we should offer Tobias Harris a contract. I really do think Philadelphia should. I think that contract should be like a 2 years, maybe 3 years, $25,000. Just total slap in the face. Send him the least amount of money you could possibly send a player. Because I don't just not want to see him play in the Sixers uniform ever again, but I want him to feel like he is the worst. I want him to want to retire after the contract extension we could offer this man. I think he doesn't deserve to be in the NBA. I think he is an absolute embarrassment, and he's one of the softest players I've ever seen play basketball. I would have rather had Ben Simmons out there in a Game 6, and that dude hasn't played basketball since 2003, than watching Tobias Harris suit up and play basketball for the Philadelphia 76ers. It has been absolutely disgusting over the last 5 years, and there has been nothing I've wanted to see end more than his time with Philadelphia. And honestly, today, at least, I can sit here and say that he's done. He's done in Philadelphia. He honestly might be my least favorite Philadelphia athlete of all time. And that says so much, given what we've been through, especially as Sixers fans over the last couple of years, as is, dude. And I can't wait to never watch him play basketball again. The dude should be embarrassed for himself. He should just, the Sixers take a plane home or something, even though it's at home, whatever. The Sixers have some team bus. I hope they made Tobias Harris walk. I can't stand him. That being said, the Sixers need to now open to fill that slot that Toby's contract unfortunately filled. And whether that's Paul George or Brian Windhorst reports a Jimmy Butler possible trade maybe, or, you know, a Brandon Ingram possible trade. The Sixers have options right now. We have our pick, the 16th, and I think we have the 41st pick in the draft. I could be wrong. But we just have trade assets, man, and I don't want to sit here and talk about, like, being excited for the future because it's tough right now. I mean, everything's proven that nothing will change, especially as much as I love Embiid and as much as I, you know, think he's a warrior for doing what he did this year. I don't think he's that guy. I just don't think he's a fourth quarter guy in the playoffs you can trust. And I'm tired of year after year just sitting here and talking about, like, oh, he's not 100% healthy. Oh, we can't blame him. He's not 100% healthy. At what point, you know, does that become a criticism of Embiid? Like, I know he played really hard and he played well, but availability is the best ability, and I know it won't ever happen, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate if the Sixers just decided to just trade Embiid now and just try to move towards a more youthful direction and stockpile for the future, but I know that's obviously not going to happen now. And, you know, I'm not mad at it. I think there is a possibility in the world somewhere that maybe the Sixers can do something with Embiid on the roster, but right now it's just difficult to believe. It's really, really difficult to see this team ever getting past this hump. And it's frustrating, dude. It's frustrating. So as long as we have Embiid on the court and on the team, we need another star. And I think, is Paul George that guy? I mean, he's never won anything either. I would probably argue and say Jimmy Butler somehow could be that guy, but he's clearly the least talented dude out of the Brandon Ingram and Paul George trio. But the Sixers are just missing grit. They're missing talent. They're missing skill. They're missing shot making. They're missing offense when Embiid's off the court. Dude, we had a minus 50-something with Embiid off the court, and the net rating was down. Everything is just night and day. I would love to see a backup center on a Sixers roster at one point in my lifetime. I mean, so many of you guys loved Paul George and loved this, or not Paul George, Paul Reed, and loved this, oh, he's going to be that guy. Like, we found that dude. He's never been that dude. Paul Reed is good in 10-minute spurts. Play him 10 to 15 minutes a game, and he'll be all right. But he's not a backup center in the playoffs, dude. Like, we have to be real. And, I mean, this year really was the year because we had a lot of guys on veteran minimums that really overexceeded their value. That's all what it's about. It's all about finding guys who are going to play better than how much you're paying them, because the more you have of that, your team just will overperform. It's all about finding value and money. And Kelly Oubre was arguably the best value guy of any team and anywhere this year. And we kind of just let nothing happen as a result. And so now Oubre is going to get money. Oubre is going to get paid. I argue that he's probably going to go to the highest bidder. But I think he really likes playing under Nick Nurse, so maybe some possibility that he can take a pay cut to stay with Nurse and stay in Philadelphia, because I think he does really like Philadelphia, but he's going to get money, man. He's going to get paid, and I just don't see how the Sixers team can improve and just get better. It's frustrating. I've been watching the game yesterday. It's very evident to me that Joel Embiid, despite stat lines looking really good, is sluggish, is tired, is out of shape, is injured, is dead. And your team takes on the personality of your best player, and that is not good. As long as we have Embiid as our best player, as our go-to guy, it's just not going to work, man. And that's really no knock to Embiid. He's an incredible player. He's the best Sixer I've ever seen in my life. He's amazing, but he's not a dog. He's not this, when there's 0 left in the tank, give me the ball and I'm just going to go as hard as I can to the rack and just find a way to get a bucket and just fight and crawl and just scrap. he's not that guy. When we're going to him in the fourth quarter and we're struggling, like, we've seen it time after time, man. Like, the wide open jump shot that he had out of the inbound play, it was 3 games ago, where he takes the pump fake and then he drives to the rim and just tries to get to the free throw line, and in result, he throws the ball up and he misses the layup because there's no contact. Like, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like, Embiid he would rather get to the free throw line than make that big shot. And he had a couple of Ben Simmons moments of just being scared. Like passing up on a mid-range jump shot that is normally a bucket for him. But you could tell he had a second of thinking it, a second of overthinking a moment, a second of just getting in his head and it's just not working out. And like that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Like I just don't know if that guy can lead a team to win a championship. I just don't think so. I don't know. He's an incredible talent. He's a top 5 player in the NBA, but there are very, very, very few people in the NBA that have that mentality that can, you know, go deep in playoff runs. And that's why, Jimmy Butler intrigues me as much as I think he's highly overrated as a basketball player. I do think that he makes up for it in just absolute grit and just desire to win and dog mentality, and there just aren't many guys in the NBA that are like that. Brandon Ingram, I don't think is like that. I think he's a softer player. He had a terrible playoffs. It's just frustrating. Paul George, we know playoff P. We know, how he is, but he's also had a pretty solid series for the most part. Outside of 2 games ago, he's had a pretty good series against the Mavs, and I could get on board for Paul George, but what's the rest going to look like? And with his injury history, wow, that sounds weird. I just don't know. I don't know what the Sixers are going to look like, and I don't know if we're just going to float in this space that we've been at for years now. And it's just like I don't want to float here anymore, man. I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to lose 70 games a year or win 60 and actually trust the team to make a playoff push, because it's every single year we manage all to get our hopes up, because this year is different. Embiid had more points than minutes this year. Like, all this team's deep. We have Oubre. What about Kyle Lowry? It's the same thing. It's the same thing, because more than talent, it's the will to win. That's the most important thing, and I just don't know if Embiid has it. And I know that's hard to say after the game he had yesterday, but nothing matters until the last half of the fourth quarter. That's the only thing that matters when you're the best player on the team. When you're the best player on the team, the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter that's what you're getting paid for. That is what you're getting paid for. And I don't think that he has that. I don't think Embiid's the guy that we're confidently putting the ball in his hands with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We've seen it every single year, time after time after time, of him turning the ball over 9 times a game. It's not 1996 anymore, man. It's just living through the post and living through a post score like that. It's not NBA basketball. Big men are not the best player on their championship team. Jokic is such an anomaly. I'm getting a phone call. Jokic is such an anomaly. It's different, man. His style of play is entirely different. And they also have Jamal Murray, who's a dude who is that 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, go out and ruthlessly get a bucket. Maxey has been that guy time and time, but he's still young, and he's still figuring it out, and he's still learning. He's only 24. I believe in him. More than anybody on the team, I believe in Tyrese Maxey. But then they have Michael Porter Jr., a guy who is just an absolute flamethrower, a guy who can create his own shot, but also knock down set shots better than anybody in the league. And we don't have that. Tobias Harris had 0 points on 2 shots. The Sixers need more top-heavy, talent. So I'm interested to see how this draft goes, or this offseason goes, I should say. I was going to say, I don't know if the Sixers keep their draft pick. Maybe. We've drafted relatively well over the last couple of years, so I wouldn't hate it, but we're in a weird position. We're in the position of, we're running out of time in this window, so we're really trying to put all of our eggs in one basket to win now. It's doing what LA is doing, but LA also already won. We're trying to put all of our eggs in one basket to win a championship as soon as possible because we're running out of time. But also, Tyrese Maxey's 24, and he's starting to blossom. So it's like we also are trying to create some type of future in Philadelphia because we don't know how good this kid can get. Every year, every game, every day, he's getting better. Every time anybody has an expectation or a ceiling for him, he just blasts through it. So the Sixers are in limbo. Because on one hand, we need to win right now. Let's trade everything we have to win right now. But on the other hand, the Sixers could be good in the future for a while. It's not like we're just going to tank. Because Tyrese Maxey is a seriously good NBA player. He's an all-star. He is a seriously good NBA player. And maybe down like in the future, we start building around him. But we're stuck in between. And that's the issue of the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's what we're going to be facing over the next year. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the offseason. I've lost interest in the playoffs. I live in New York, so I just hope the Knicks lose in 4 to Indiana. But Indiana's not particularly a good team. I mean, they're okay. They're better than the Sixers, but we'll see. Peace out, guys. Let me know what you think.